What's up, everybody? Hello. We are live, and the Skeptical Help Bar is open for business. Wow. All right. So this time around, we're doing our Q&A. So I'll go over the rules in a bit, but I want to make sure everybody knows that we are streaming on my I Am Kenny Biddle page, Facebook page. And we are also streaming on the WLFE DB radio network, this is the first official live stream to that channel, that page. So I joined it up last week, a week or two. I don't know when I joined up. I was probably intoxicated at the time, but I did it. Teddy runs it, and the guy that does Talk with Teddy. So we've been in talks and decided to jump in and do this. So here we are again. It's Friday night. It's 8:30-ish, and I have my special tea. It's ready to go. Let's get out of it. There we go. Special tea is ready to go, and I am going to look for comments. Let's see. Yo, Dave Schumacher is in the house. Dave is probably going to be the first person banned from this show forever because Dave's a great guy. I'm just messing with him. All right. So if you're seeing this on a different page, you might want to come over to the I Am Kenny Biddle page or the WLFE DB page, because I don't know if I'll see the comments if you're not commenting there. Hey, Taryn. Hey, Jennifer. What's up? What's up? I'm watching Gran Torino. No, Taryn. No. Get off of that shit. Get on here. So the idea here is, hey, Stacy. Yeah, the idea here, that totally threw me off. Stacy, you threw me off. So what we're going to do, we're all going to get adult beverages. Hey, Peter. And we're going to have a discussion. You guys can ask questions, paranormal related questions. Let me make that clear, because some people get into some freaky shit when I don't clarify that it's paranormal. So you can ask any paranormal related questions you want. And I will give a skeptical opinion, my skeptical opinion based on my knowledge, my experiences, what I've heard, what I haven't heard, and this and that. There you go. I'm going to enjoy my specialty, probably slur my words at the end of the podcast, which is probably, we're going to go for 2 hours. And so what else do I have? I have rule number 2. I don't know everything. So that's a given. And I'm not going to make it up. I'm not going to pretend that I know more than I really do, because I don't know a lot. So if you do ask a question and I don't know what it is, I might take a second to look it up. I'll try and entertain you. Maybe I'll sing a song while I'm looking it up on Google, and we'll see if we can figure it out. And if I can't figure it out, but we can have more of a discussion, if you can come on, like I know Dave can just rattle off a lot of shit off the top of his head. If you have a webcam and can come on, if you have access, obviously, if you're watching the show, then I can bring you on. And we can have a discussion here for a minute or two on that topic. So that's awesome. I love that. Rule number 3 is this show is for friendly discussion, not for anyone to start bitching at other people. If you do, I don't know what I'll do, because I really haven't thought about that. I just usually ignore really bad comments because I'm feeling good. So we'll deal with that when we cross that bridge. I know, Tom. I don't know everything. Holy shit. Rule number 4. Oh, rule number 4 I already covered, because it was about the if you have a video camera and can come on. So real quick, last episode I did a video interview with Elle Harris and her father, and it was about their new book, Elle the Humanist, and it was really cool. I had a great time. They started a Kickstarter campaign for her book. She's 9 years old. She wrote a book about being a humanist, all by herself, with a little help from her dad. But she was funded within, I think they said 10 or 12 hours. She was completely funded, so it was awesome. That project is going to get off the ground. I'm happy about that. Hey D, I disagree with you. Are going to Tim Vicker me? Oh, Jennifer, you're number 3. You're going to be number 3 to get Tim Figured off of this show. Oh my God. Sorry, I got an itch. I'm not actually picking my nose. So let's see. I can wait for the other announcements till afterwards. If you guys have questions, please start throwing them in the chat room. I should be able to see them from either page that I'm streaming to, so we can jump right in. I'm going to jump right into drinking. Oh, that was a little strong. Oh, this is going to be a good show. Ooh. So, okay. Wow. All right. If no one has any questions, I'm just going to start complaining. No, I'm not going to do that. Clear the boogers out of the cave. Let's go. Thanks, Dave. That's nice. I love. Oh, look at that. I can put it up. That's not as big as I thought it was. That's what she said. Hold on a second. Let me fix that. Let me see if. Oh, default. There we go. Nice and big. I love when that happens. You get Tim Vickard. Let's see. What's that? You get Tim Vickard, and you get Tim Vickard, and you get Tim Vickard. Oh, my. Okay, Oprah. Wow. Hey, Stacy. Hey, Sharon. Oh, you asked one. Okay. I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it, Pete. Here we go. I want to know where all the Yowie sightings were when the Australia fires happened. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, all the fires and the Yowie is that's the Australian version of Bigfoot, I believe. And yeah, I don't recall hearing any sightings. And you would think with all the big fires and stuff that all the animals would be running, including the, huge Yowie. I like saying Yowie. That's just a great word. That's an awesome word. Yowie. It's better than Bigfoot. And his name is Daryl. So let's just clarify that. Let's see. What do we got here? I asked one. What is this? If you were a security guard and you're currently staying home, how can you claim to be a frontline worker? I don't think that's a paranormal related question, Jen. You're going to get booted. I'm oh boy. So let's see. Are there any topics that I haven't covered that we can just jump into and just start talking about? We can talk about gadgets. We can talk about any ghost sightings. I know a little bit about UFO stuff. I should probably do some kind of intro or like an introduction for anyone that might be watching this on the other network and don't know who the fuck I am. Oh, that should be a rule that I do curse. So if you're easily offended or get butt hurt, you probably shouldn't watch this show. And so there you go. Here we go. Thoughts on how to conduct EVP ITC experiments appropriately. That's a good question, Dave. I should bring you on for that. So I guess, when we're talking EVP ITC, interdimensional transcommunication, I think that's what it is. So it's basically the same thing. EVP sessions. That's where you're trying to talk to the other side. Hey, Chuck. So I think are we talking like real world or like optimized, like the perfect setting? Because in the real world, it's probably going to be different. You're not going to be able to do what you really need to do. Because I think a perfect setting would be a soundproof room, like a completely soundproof room where you have the maybe one person in there asking the questions and then go from there. I really have to think about that. That's interesting. No, I'm drunk. Dave, you can't be drunk and expect to ask questions like this. Optimized. So optimized would be, definitely a soundproof room where you don't have to worry about noise traveling from like upstairs, downstairs, the other rooms, from other people, stomach growling, because all of us have heard that. You don't want people whispering because all of us have done that. You don't want any outside noises, cars, people that were drinking or having fun walking by, neighbors that are yelling, or the TV or something from the house next door. You don't want any of that. So it would have to be a soundproof room. And again, that's optimized. That's a perfect setting. It's never going to happen. But that would weed out a lot of the noises that are often mistaken for ghost voices. But in a real world situation, like, oh, well, you say, yeah, real world is questionable at best. I mean, really, I mean, at best. You can't really do it in a real world situation, because when teams go out to these locations, they're usually going to like private homes, historical locations, abandoned locations that are semi-abandoned, like they're not in use, like old asylums and stuff that aren't in use anymore but open for tours. You can't soundproof anything. Hey, Carolyn, you can't soundproof, you can't protect or guard against outside noises. And again, it comes back to simple shit like stomach growling and people whispering. I can't tell you how many times I've been on, ghost hunts where the person conducting the EVP session has said, "Hey, no whispering. Make sure you don't whisper." And within a minute or so, someone's fucking whispering. You can't help it. And it's always that idea. We had this mentality like, oh, you know what? They won't hear me. That recorder won't hear me. And it's just the idea. Not only is it whispering, but the idea of moving over like this, and your clothing, the friction from your clothing on your body and the friction from the clothing on the floor or other obstacles that you're on, like a sofa or a chair or something. All the little noises you make when you lean over to whisper to somebody also causes problems. So someone farted. That's good. Yeah. I mean, I agree. When someone farts, it does happen. Talk about real-time EVP ITC ghost box sessions. Whoa. I'm offended at what? Shut up. Hey, Chuck, thanks for stopping by. I hope you stay around a little bit. My number one real world question. Let me see. Where's that? There you go. I reach a new level of energy and consciousness when I drink. Oh my God. Energy. I think every time, this should be a rule too. Every time someone says the word energy, we drink, because I think that is the top misused word in the paranormal community. Wow. I'm not even drunk yet. All right. Talk about real-time EVP ITC ghost box sessions. I think they're a waste of time. I really do. I think that it's a complete waste of time. Ghost boxes are fucking radios. They are radios that are scanning all the known radio stations, the ones that we broadcast to, the ones that we receive from, that we receive music and commercials and talk radio, and even some television channels. I forget which ones that still broadcast. ABC, I think, NBC. I think the major networks actually still broadcast on radio channels. But you're getting all of that. So you're going to get names and dates and numbers and places, locations, furniture, actions, sound effects. You're going to get all of this stuff. So if you're using an EVP session with a ghost box, you already corrupted your data. That's how I see it. You already corrupted it. You're wasting your time, because yes, you're going to get voices. Yes, you're going to get a lot of different words that are coming through because they're being broadcasted, and you're only listening to one or two words, if that. Sometimes you don't even get the whole word. You can get part of a word, but it forms a new word, like an actual word. You're getting syllables, and it sounds like something, like a response. You might get something that sounds like yes or no, and it's not actually what they said, because the words are taken out of context. And that's the big thing. I mean, there's a standing joke about ghost hunters are basically anomaly hunters. They look for anything that's unusual that they don't understand and deem it paranormal. And a ghost box is it's freaking like, it's right up there. It's the top of the list of anomaly hunting, because you're looking for words. You know what? This is a good thing to do. Put the TV on. Just watch the TV and like the news. That would be great. Just turn the news on and start asking EVP questions and see what happens. Ask, what's your name? What's the date? How did you die? And listen. As soon as you ask the question, start listening to what the news is saying and see if you can pick out words. And that's basically the same thing. I mean, there's some variables that are different, but I mean, you're basically getting the same thing. You're getting one or two words that pop out of a broadcast, and you're like, oh, okay. how did you die? And you hear stairs. Oh, that's your answer. They must have fell down the stairs. Oh, that's another thing, Dave. I'm talking right to you, Dave. You usually watch these ghost box sessions, and the radio stations that are broadcasting, that are being picked up, are the ones that dictate the conversation. It's like, if you can ask a question, and I've done this before, and let me know if you guys have seen this before, or heard this before. Give me a thumbs up, because I think I see that more than I see the comments. I know there's a lot of comments coming. I'm trying to get to them. So the conversation's going. Somebody asks a question to the ghost box, like, what's your name? And if a word comes across and they hear something like stairs, I'm going to use that example again. They hear stairs. Even though that's not an answer to the question, which was, what is your name? Most groups that I've observed will look at that and say, oh, well, you said stairs? Oh, is that how you died? Is that how you died? Tell me if that's how you died. Did you fall down the stairs? And that the conversation takes a right turn, and it never answers the original question. It goes off into another direction, and it's just there's no skepticism, there's no filtering, there's no logic or reason. It's just, oh, whatever comes out, we'll just follow whatever the radio spits out, and we follow that direction. I hope that answered your question, or at least satisfied the question a little bit, Dave. I hope so. I'm gonna keep going, because I don't want to spend too much on each question, because I know people get like frustrated when I fall behind, and I know I'm falling behind. So I'm taking that off. Let's see. Troy Taylor has a story about EVP and growling stomach. Oh, that's great. Troy, he you know what? He'll probably write a story about it, and then ghostwrite it for somebody else, and maybe Zach Baggins. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Let's see. Hey, Dave, how you doing? Oh, look at him. He's got a picture with everybody drinking. Let me know what you're drinking, because I'd love to know what you're drinking. Let's see. I subscribed to a new Facebook group called Sasquatch Chronicles. Interesting how so many people in so many different parts of the world have said they have seen Bigfoot, but yet still no clear evidence. Are all these people crazy, high, full of shit? I like how you use a little $ for shit. I just find it odd that Bigfoot is supposedly everywhere, and so many people have seen him or her. You know what? I don't think people are crazy. Let me rephrase that. I don't think all people are crazy. Certainly there are some people that are crazy, and most of them are friends of mine. So I don't think all of these people that claim to be witnesses are crazy. I don't think they're all high. I do think a lot of them are full of shit. I do think some of them are full of shit, because there's some that I've interacted with that just clearly do not know. Like, it's the same as ghost hunting. They don't know how to use the equipment they're using. They don't try to figure out what the real cause is. They just see something strange, and they immediately title it a Bigfoot. I think most people see something odd, they maybe get scared, and they're a little bit too afraid to go and investigate it, and therefore it develops into a story. And the legend grows, and the more they tell it, and the longer, the more time goes by, the story gets bigger, and they convince themselves that yes, they saw a creature, or they talk to somebody that's, say, like in the Bigfoot community, and if the person that is in the Bigfoot community doesn't take care and really like ask questions and try to figure out what's going on, and just tells them right off, oh, that's probably a Bigfoot, then there you go. That's your conclusion. And I feel that's where most of these eyewitness accounts come from, or at least evolve from. They start out as I don't know, and then they eventually evolve into, oh, it's probably a Bigfoot. So that would be my understanding of it. So there you go. I hope that satisfied that question. Good. We got 14 people still. Let's see. Dave is still on channels. What if Dave says, what if you have multiple channels, one channel response, but not other channels? other or multiple recorders and only one picks up a response? Well, I think that's two different questions there. So I'm not sure if you mean multiple channels, like on one soundboard where you have multiple channels recording, or if you're talking about multiple stations as the ghost box cycles through all the frequencies. So I'm going to deal with the second question. If you have multiple recorders and only one picks up a response, well, that depends on where the recorders are. If you have multiple recorders in a room or an area, then if somebody is close to one of those and whispers or shuffles or their stomach growls, it's more likely that the recorder right next to them will pick up the sound from them rather than one that's maybe 15, 20 feet away. That's one thing. And these are hypothetical situations. I mean, I know a lot of these are real world questions, but we're right now we're dealing with a virtual scenario here. So I'm just trying to throw out ideas here. That would probably be my first response and my go-to response until I knew more information. If you're talking about multiple channels, one channel response, but not other channels. I'm wondering if you mean, see, I wish you weren't so drunk and you could come on, Dave, because I'd like to clarify this a little bit. But I think if you're talking about like multiple microphones going into one recording setup, like a quad setup, then again, it would be, where is the noise? If the origin of the noise is closer to one microphone, and not the other ones, depending on how far apart they are too, it's more likely that one channel would pick it up and not the others. So I don't see anything abnormal about that. It's just, I think that's what we have to think about when these things come up. We have to think about, where is that noise coming from? And like there was Mitch Silverstein, a friend of mine, had developed software that went oh, Dave's messaging me. He's cheating. I guess probably because I'm not scrolling down the comments fast enough. Oh, wait. Oh, no, I did. Oh, wow. Yeah. I got to I'm behind. So I'm going to keep rolling here. So my friend Mitch Silverstein actually developed software where he could use 4 microphones, and it went in the software and it calculated, once it was calibrated, it would calculate where in the room a sound came from. Of course, that's only on one plane too. It didn't account for height. So if a noise came from like way above at the ceiling, it might throw it off. But we were calibrated at pretty much if anyone was sitting down and where they would be talking or moving, it was calibrated to about, I would say, about 3.5 to 4 feet off the ground. So the quad setup was set up for that. And we could pinpoint, and after tests, we found that it did pinpoint the origin of a noise within, I think it was a radius or a diameter of 12 inches. So that was the margin of error there, 12 inches. So good question, though. Good question. Carolyn, energy. Did we say it? Do we have to drink? Did I say it? I got to catch up. You have 0 energy. Dave says he agreed on real-time EVP. Okay, I hope he's agree with me. Charlotte. Hey, Charlotte. I don't like ghost boxes. Neither do I. I do not like ghost boxes. Let's see. Ooh, Stacy said, I got told fuck you from a ghost box, but I'm skeptical. Most likely you weren't actually told fuck you. Most likely, well, I mean, it's possible if you had interference, and it depends on how shielded your ghost box was, because there is potential for interference depending on the model and what's going on inside, if any modifications were done. But it's more likely that it as it came onto a station, you might have gotten bleed through between stations. That's when it's right between the stations, and you can hear a little bit of both. And as you got into or came out of the bleed through and went into the station and then went out of it, you might have gotten in between words. So it might have sounded like that. And that's one of the big problems with EVP and ghost boxes, is that it's very subjective. It's very interpretive. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Interpretative. Oh, I really screwed that one up. You have to interpret what is being said. And everyone's different. You can hear the same broadcast or same, EVP. And I mean, this is something that's been said all the time. You can hear everybody can hear the same one and come up with different conclusions. And it depends on acoustics, where you are, how close you are to it. You might hear something different than other people. It's horrible. It's horrible. Ghost box sessions are just dumb. I don't know how else to say it. It's a waste of time. That's what I see. That's how I see it. Let's see. What else we got? Plus, in bringing up ghost boxes only means that it will turn to a Steve Huff at some point. Oh my, don't even get me started on him, Tom. Wow. Great point. Hi, John. I don't know what you were saying. Good point too. I hope it was me. I'm going to take credit for it. So, what is an anomaly? These are good. These are good questions, Dave. And I know we've already talked about it. And I think you're asking some of these questions to clarify, which is great. I love it. What is an anomaly? Oh, I think we're going to talk about different things, because you say if you conduct an experiment and you find a p-value of, oh my God, that is an anomaly, 0.00000001. That's an anomaly. Accept it in science as interesting. Why is it a bad thing in paranormal? Okay, so I think we're talking about different things. And I get where you're coming from. I definitely get it. And that's going strict science, which is, I love it. But I think what we're talking about more, anomalies applies to images and photographs or video, sounds on an audio recording that are unknown, that don't have an explanation by the people that are recording it or capturing it. And it's an anomaly. Like some people, not most, but some people think orbs are ghosts. It's an anomaly because we don't know exactly what it is. But most of the time we do. And the anomaly is something that's strange in a photograph or a video or a recording. An anomaly is something that we feel, like a feeling that someone can report. That's the I guess the definition that I'm using here. So when I say anomaly hunting, I refer to when people see photographs and they say, oh, this is strange. This is probably a ghost, and they're pointing to some kind of artifact in the photo. Same with a video. If they see some kind of artifact in the video, they're like, that's a ghost or a demon or a shadow person or, what have you. So those are anomalies that they're looking for. They're looking for orbs or mists or shadow figures or distortions in the photo. They're looking for, or they're listening for something that sounds like a voice that doesn't belong to people there. They're listening for some kind of noise like a bang or something that shouldn't be there. That's what I'm referring to when I say anomaly. So I appreciate the question because it clarifies the difference between a scientific anomaly and the anomaly that we're looking for in investigating. So that was a good question. I know he was gonna get me. Dave is great. I love talking with Dave. And if you want to hear us go back and forth more, tune in on Saturday nights. Me, Dave, and Tim Vickers do a video podcast called Three Tortured Souls, and we do this a lot. So it's fun, it's entertaining, and we are still good friends. So, all right, let's see. Charlotte says, there's the other saying that if you put a group of monkeys in a room with a typewriter and let them type away, they will eventually type several known classics. I would love, if it wasn't unethical, I would love to see that come to fruition. I would love to see that come out. That would be nice. Let's see. We're still doing good. I love this. I'm looking. All right, I'm trying to catch up on these comments. Uh-oh. I hate that. I try to scroll down and all of a sudden it jumps. Let me see. Oh, wait, what is that? Here's one from Bob. Hey, Bob. Bob's a karate buddy. You mentioned UFOs. I am a huge fan of Ancient Aliens. Sorry to hear that, Bob. But mainly for the historical aspects of the show. I'm a history teacher. Yes, you are. What do you think of the overall concept that humans have been helped in the past, especially since there is very little evidence that humans had the technology to create some of the structures they have? I think, and this is my personal opinion, I think it's completely a dick move for these ancient alien theorists to like they rely on this idea that we had to have help to build these structures, and no, we did not. You can see that there were ways to do it. It took time. It took time and a lot of manpower. Yeah, they didn't have the technology that we have today. You know, the construction machinery that we have today, but it doesn't matter because they had time and they had workers. They didn't have the internet. They didn't have video games. They didn't have nightclubs. They didn't have all this stuff to do. So all they did was work. I mean, that was it. They had the time and the manpower to do it. So I think the concept that humans needed aliens to help build these structures is just, I think it's an insult to our own history. You know, it's an insult to us saying that we were just stupid people. If we didn't have machinery to help us, then we were just dumb and helpless and couldn't do anything. I mean, that's wow. It sounds a little bit like the Matrix. You know, we need machines and shit. But so that's my short opinion on that, because I just don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, and those shows like Ancient Aliens, the historical aspects, I don't trust them. I don't trust their interpretation of the historical aspects, because you know they're leaving shit out. And I'm sure you, being a history teacher, you know that they're leaving some shit out, or they're ignoring some things so that it makes it more dramatic. It's a dramatic retelling because, you know, that's what they need. They need viewers. And that's the way to do it, to leave out some facts, leave out, you know, known discoveries, known methods that we know we can build them. But if they leave all that stuff out and go with, oh, you know, if you fuck up your hair all crazy and shit and go, how could you do that? How could we do that without cranes? How could we do that without bulldozers? There's no way. Bullshit. That's all I got to say about that. Man, time to drink. Let's see. Misidentification. Carolyn, you know it. I mean, there's a lot of misidentification. I don't know what you're referring to, but yes. Let's see. Charlotte. Charlotte says, sometimes those apps will record your voices and play it back. It sounds like a voice from the app and not yours. Yes, I agree. And there were some people, I still have to write it up because I did get one of the apps, I think the Echo Vox. I bought that app because there were a couple people that I know that were testing it, and they did the same thing. I shared the video a while ago of them testing it, where the developer of it swore that they did not use the microphone. They did not record the voices. They didn't do anything like that, except that in the app, it comes up with the permissions. It tells you it needs permission for the microphone. And even though when they denied it, they set up the app, turned it on, and started saying, I think they said banana. I think that's the word that they were using. And if I find it, I'm going to write that down because I want to find that. The Echo Vox video, so I can repost it. So they said, I'm pretty sure they said the word banana. And then the app started repeating it back, and they added reverb. Well, the people didn't. The app added reverb and echo and effects to twist it a little bit, but it was definitely saying banana. And it was her voice. The person that actually said it, it was her voice. And it was clear and they did more tests, and it came up the same each and every time. So I don't trust those apps. They're apps. They're apps. They charge everyone $2, $3, and they make a fortune off of it. And it's modern day snake oil, just electronic form. So let's see. Jim Clausen. Hey, Jim. How you doing? Different recorders, different mics, different types of mics. Dynamic versus condenser. Oh, excuse me. That was a burp. I'm not sure if you're asking a question or if you're just throwing it out there. But yeah, there's different recorders. They usually record within the same frequency range, but you have to look. Like I have, for example, let's see. I have this. I have this. What else do I have? This one. Look, a micro cassette recorder. Whoa, that's like ancient. I have this one. And I have, wait, 2 of those? Yeah, 2 of those. I think that's it. Oh, wait, no. Oh, here's a blast from the past. Look at that, a Panasonic. But all of these are different. They have the microphones in different places. The microphones have different sensitivities. And the configuration of the body could sometimes distort the noise depending on which one it is. So, yeah, I agree with Jim there. Different microphones and different microphones, like dynamic versus condenser, totally different sound. Definitely a different sound. Like I have a condenser mic that I'm using for the podcast. I have a dynamic mic that goes for a guest. If I have a guest, like when my wife joins me for different podcasts, I just set this up. So different sound. And that was interesting setting this up over the weekend because just the difference between dynamic and condenser, the settings, just even for my own voice, when I was listening through the headphones and setting all the controls, all the knobs and settings on my board here, my mixer board, everything's different from the 2 mics, even with my own voice, my same voice. So definitely it makes a difference what you're using. It can change up the sound of broadcasts and recordings. So definitely something to consider. Good one, Jim. And Carolyn adds different surfaces too. Exactly. And I think we covered that on the last show where if you put like a recorder on a wooden table versus like a metal table, it's going to sound different. You're also going to get vibrations differently. If people are walking by, I got to stop saying that's bad radio. If people are walking by or there's traffic outside and there's vibrations that come through, it's going to react differently with the recorders and the microphones and the surfaces that the recorders are on. So definitely stuff to look at and consider whenever you're investigating or reviewing your recordings. Let's see. Or Panasonic DR60. Which one is mine? I don't know what this is. Let's see. Oh, no, I don't have that one. I got it a little bit later. This one is the Panasonic RRQR80. So I think it was like 2 or 3 after the original Panasonic came out, which was horrible. It was so bad with static. So bad. Steve Barry, oh my God, from the Gettysburg Ghost Exchange, says, I want the red ghost to your left or else. Oh, this guy, you mean? He doesn't light up. He's got no innards. He's just a shell. But yeah, he's pretty cool. He kind of bleaches out. Let me see what happens when I turn the light out. Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. I like that. But that's just a shell. I got a green one too. He's cool. That was Jonathan Vanover made those for me. So let's keep going. And I know if you haven't noticed, I read the questions now. That's because these videos will be, after they are done, I upload them to Spreaker and it goes out to all the major podcast platforms in audio only. So that's why I'm reading more, just to get everything out there so that people that are listening through a podcast version don't get confused. Like, what the hell is he talking about? So Charlotte, Steve Huff, yikes. Yeah, I agree. Stacy, wow. Yeah, orbs are fucking dust or moisture. Yeah, I agree. Or bugs or strands of hair or out of focus lights, or rain or snow or dirt on the lens or flashlights or there's so many things that orbs are. So for those people out there that still consider orbs something paranormal, you really need to do your homework with photography and video even too, because you have to apply it to motion, which, I mean, video is basically a whole bunch of pictures put together. So when it comes down to it, learn your photography and you'll learn a lot about video too. And then night shot, because infrared light is still light. It still reflects off of dust particles and bugs and shit. So, let's see. That's a drink. Jennifer, who is the third person that's going to get banned from the show. She asks, what are your thoughts on life after death? I don't have any definitive answer to tell you. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know if you mean like my own personal thoughts, like, what do I think happens when we die, or if, life after death, meaning like all the people that claim that they, have evidence of life after death and stuff. So my personal thoughts, I don't know what happens. I'm going to wait and see what happens. Why is my printer going off? Somebody's trying to play with my printer. Shush. So I don't know what happens when we die. Right now, I'm pretty much on the idea that when we die, we go to sleep. And that's it. We just don't wake up. I don't know. So if you can clarify that, Jen, if that's what you were talking about, or if you were talking about like more of the ghost hunters and the evidence and stuff, yeah, I'll get back to that. Stacy says cursing more because I'm drunk. That's okay. That's why we're here. We're at a bar. This is a bar, Skeptical Help Bar. I am your bartender, so feel free to drink. Jennifer says, 3 monkeys. Are you talking about Tim, Dave, and Kenny? Yes, absolutely. 3 monkeys. Bob, great response to my question. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's always hard. I mean, this is great. I love this interaction, this Q&A. And sometimes it's hard to get feedback from you guys, or sometimes I miss it. And I don't mean to, but sometimes I miss it because I'm trying to catch up on the comments and see what's going on and who's saying what. So great. Awesome feedback. I love it. So let's see. Charlotte says, I had a client that claimed that a fireball shot through their living room. They swore up and down that it happened. We checked all the EMF in the house, and it was in line with appliances. Any ideas? Why did you check EMF? I don't understand why you did that. Because if they're claiming like a fireball, like you're talking like, are we talking like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of fireball coming through? Or are we talking like a ball lightning kind of look? Or I don't know what you're really talking about. Like, are we talking about like a small, like a baseball size? Or are we talking like huge? Because that would scare the fuck out of me if it was big, to tell you the truth. If something like that comes through, I mean, the first thing I would do, honestly, is separate everyone. I would definitely separate all the witnesses to it. And if there's more than one, because you say you had a client, so I don't know if that means one or multiple witnesses, but I would definitely separate them and get the stories. Look at the stories, look at the details they gave you, and then go back and re-interview or do a second interview and question the details. And I don't mean like say, well, you said this. I don't think that's true. I mean, if they said, well, it was a big fireball, how big? Like, what are we talking here? Where did it come from? Find out where the path of travel that it took, and find some kind of frame of reference. Like a door frame is awesome. A door frame is a good frame of reference, because if it came through a door frame, you can stand there and say, okay, where were you at the time when you saw it? Get back there, and then let's see how big it was. Did it take up this much space or this much, in a door frame? Because the door frame limits your area, so it gives you a much more focused area to experiment in. So you can kind of figure out the size a little bit, approximately. And then I would go with colors and how long did it last and all of this information, and then come up with that. I don't know. I really don't understand why EMF would have anything to do with that, because you're since it's not there, and I don't think EMF I don't recall anything that would cause something like that. And your EMF meters would also only measure strength of an EMF field, or it measures the strength of an EM field. It doesn't record the frequency. So there should be no reason to actually to measure that, but I would go with the details first. Okay, oh man, there it goes. It jumps again. That's the only thing I don't like about this. All right, so I'm moving on. Maybe we'll come back to that and see if you put more details in the comments, we can come back to that. So let's see. Oh, Jennifer replies, Charlotte, that may have been ball lightning. I've seen it in my own house once. So that's interesting. I mean, I know there's claims of ball lightning. There's no known pictures or video that I know of that I've come across, because I've looked for it. I haven't never seen anything captured, so to get a frame of reference. But it would be interesting. I'd love to know what you did too, like when you saw it in your own house. Were you drunk at the time? I'm just curious. Let's see. Stacy says, I can't believe that I used to think that orbs were ghosts. You know what? Don't beat yourself up. I did too. Back in the 90s, I was a ghost hunter. I was part of a ghost hunting team. I thought orbs were something. And the only reason I started changing my attitude or changing my viewpoint was because I started getting into photography. And the more I learned about photography and how light interacts with the camera, with film and the sensor, the more I understood what was going on. And then you start realizing, oh, okay, I can reproduce this. I can understand now. I have this understanding. With knowledge comes understanding. So the more knowledge I have, I finally understood what was happening. And I came to that realization. So don't beat yourself up. I mean, there was a lot of people that did it. I know a lot of us in here that understand what happens now. We're there. So you're not the only one. So let's see. Charlotte, she says, okay, I'll look into that. I just wonder about certain conditions that have to be present for it. Again, like ball lightning is something weird, and I don't even know if we're talking about ball lightning with your case, because this is the fireball situation. And the description alone, fireball, I mean, that to me, like, calls up images of or thoughts of ball lightning. Though I've never seen it, so I don't know what it looks like, but that's what I'm thinking. And just the description alone, I have no idea what you would test for. Well, if they say it's a fireball, did you check for burn marks? That's something I would probably check for, because that just popped into my head. Burn marks, wherever it crossed, whatever path it took, look along that path and see if there's any burn marks or scorches or singes or whatever, to see if it interacted with any of the materials. And there's other things to consider too. Like, were they under the influence of alcohol or drugs? Were they sleeping? Did they just fall asleep? Did they just wake up? These are things to consider too, because maybe it really didn't happen and it was all in their head. Not that they're crazy, but maybe they were just dreaming it. So let's see. Oh, Bob says, Ken, and Bob, I'm not saying your last name because I don't want to butcher it. I'm going to try it. Lenzinski. Bob Lenzinski. So let me know if I did that right. So he says, Ken, one of my favorite radio hosts, Elvis Duran, stutters a lot. And you're doing great, bud. I also do a lot as a teacher. Or also, oh wait, I'm screwing that up. Now you're making me stutter. I also do that a lot as a teacher, or when I run trainings. It's all good. We're all humans, yeah. I'm actually better at doing live broadcasts and speaking than I am when I'm recording. Like, I do these live broadcasts. I love doing the live broadcasts because the randomness of it, when it comes up, it really gets my brain like overdrive. I start thinking a lot and my mouth talks before my brain is ready, or when I'm ready. I'm not ready yet, but I keep talking, obviously, because I keep going back and forth between thoughts. But I do stutter sometimes. I do like that a lot, and that's because my mouth gets dry. That's why I drink during the show. But when I do recorded videos for my YouTube channel, when I do like a full video on like one topic, and it's not Q&A, it's just I'm focused on that topic. I'm giving you the background, the history, the claims, and like cutting open equipment and showing you what's inside of it. That's, oh my God. Like every scene that I film, I probably do like 50 takes easy for each scene, because I know what I want to say, but because it's not live and I guess the pressure's not on, I screw up. I go off topic. I say the wrong words. I start staring, like a dead stare at the camera. Like I totally go like a brain fart. So thank you. I appreciate the comment that I'm doing good. And I love these questions. I love talking about this stuff, you know, and interacting with people. It's fun. I do say a lot and ah. I can't help it. It just pops up. So let's see. Let's go. Steve Barry says, on 99% of these TV shows, I noticed while filming IR reflection. Do you believe these apparitions they catch are IR reflections? So I think I've used night vision. I've used infrared lighting, and it works a lot like visible light, because infrared is just, I mean, you go from visible light into the infrared spectrum, and there's a blending there where visible light starts, you know, going into the infrared spectrum, and there's a little blending that goes on, and you get to see different lights. I think I have, do I have any here? I did have infrared lights over here somewhere, but I don't know where they are, because I was using them earlier to fuck with somebody. But anyway, so it works a lot like visible light, but you can't see it. You need the help of a camera to do it. And because of that, I think it gets this stigma, this reputation for, oh, it's, you know, we're seeing the unseen and it's something spooky and mysterious. And it's not really. I mean, it's just a little bit out of our viewing range. That's all. And we just need a camera to help us see it. Doesn't mean that there's more things there. I mean, there's some things you can see in infrared that you can't see with normal vision. But do I think these apparitions are because of the infrared? Yes and no. And I think it has to do with, and again, I don't know exactly what kind of apparitions you're talking about. We don't have like a specific case that we're talking about. We're talking in general here. But I think it's the same kind of causality or causes that happen with visible light. If you use a spotlight or just any kind of light, like, oh crap, I used to have them too. I put them away though. I had video lights that I was using, but they create optical effects too. Lens flare is a big one, and visible light causes lens flare, but so does infrared lights. If you point it at a camera, if you have like a security camera down the hall that has infrared lights on it and it's pointed directly at the camera, you're going to get lens flare. It's still going to work the same way as visible light. And another thing is that if people are wandering around and you're using night vision, usually the lights are off because everyone wants to use infrared, which is the weird concept. I mean, to me, sometimes it's a dumb fucking concept that it's like, all right, let's turn off all the lights so it's dark and spooky, but yet we're going to turn on other lights so we can see. I don't get it. I don't get the concept. It's baffling to me. But I think because it's in the dark and you do need a camera to look at it, and most people are looking at the view screen. So if you're like, where's my camera? Where is my, no, not that one. That's not going to work. Let me get my video camera out. I have one here. There's one. I have this one, and I have this one. So you have, somebody's out like this, all right? And they're looking around. They're looking at the view screen that's on, which is brightly lit. So your vision sucks because you're looking at that light. So your eyes are used to and adjusted to the light on the LCD screen, and they're probably constricted because they're looking at that. And you don't have sufficient night vision. So when we turn out the lights, it takes about, I think it takes about 20 minutes, and I haven't refreshed myself on this, so don't quote me, but I think it starts at 20 minutes where you just begin getting your natural night vision. Because there's your eye is made up of cone and rod cells. The cones see color and the rods see black and white. The cones are in the middle. You have not a lot of them, but they see directly in the front of you and they see in color. But the rods, which are on the outside of your viewing range, your eye, they pick up low light situations. But there's a chemical reaction that happens when the lights go out and you're in the dark. And I can't describe it right now because again, it's been a while since I've gone over this, but there's a chemical reaction that happens that is slow. It's slow reacting, and it takes 20 minutes to an hour for good natural night vision to set in. So if you're constantly looking back at this little screen, you're interrupting that process. So the point that I'm trying to get to is in this long-winded way is that when you stop looking at this and look somewhere else, you're going to see weird shapes. You're going to see some shadows, but also you're going to see stuff in this viewing range because it's using infrared light in the dark. You might see something down the end of the hall and then try to look at it, and you're not seeing it good. You're not seeing it good enough to identify it. And you might see some weird shapes. You're going to get some after images because of this screen being there. After images are pretty much when you look at like a bright light, like I had the ring light in front of me. If I look away, I see like images, like negative images of the ring light. And that's what happens with this. And that'll disturb your vision. So I think people will mistake that for paranormal activity if they are inclined to believe that stuff. They are in a haunted house, quote unquote, and they're going to see stuff like that. So I hope that satisfied your question. I hope that was long-winded, very long-winded. I'm terrified of oblivion, says Stacy. You know what? I figure when the end comes, I will get to sleep because I don't sleep now. I really don't. I usually sleep maybe like 4 hours, 5 hours a night, if that. At least once a week, I don't sleep at all. I stay up all night because I'm either working, I'm learning, I'm doing stuff, writing and stuff. So I stay up all night. I can't help it. So yeah, when I die, I'm looking forward to a very long dirt nap. Well, it really won't be a dirt nap because I'm going to get cremated. Let's see. Juan Tom says, what was the point that you went from... Oh, what was the point you went from ghost hunter to skeptic? You wrote skeptic. So what was the point you went from ghost hunter to skeptic? Was there a single definitive event that started it, or was it just over time? Tom, it was over time. It was really over time. Basically, I was a ghost hunter. I believed everything. Like I grew up watching Unsolved Mysteries, In Search of, and all of those shows when they came on. I went to the public library, which we still have them, kids, and checked out all the books on supernatural. You know, the ghost books and the monster books that had the same like 7 or 8 pictures in all of them because they were the popular, like Nessie. They had the Loch Ness monster picture. They had the Brown Lady of Raymond Hall. They had the Tulip Staircase ghost. These are all default pictures that all the ghost books had. So I learned a lot about them. And I believed them. I wanted to see them, you know, and that was it. I went to a Catholic school, which had, I think, 2 books that were paranormal related in the library. And I checked them out every day. I went to the library and read them over and over and studied the photographs. But it was a very slow process. Maybe not very slow, but I mean, I started doubting things. And I wanted to do better. I wanted to do a lot better. And I was one of those ghost hunters that was like, you know, skeptics are assholes. They're assholes. I'm not bothering with them. You know, who cares what they say? They don't know. I know better. And I had that attitude. But I got on to Skeptical Inquirer magazine. I picked up an issue and I read something from Benjamin Radford. And I'm totally going to name drop him. But he's the reason... I credit him with the reason that I really progressed more on the skeptical side, because I read an article by him. He investigated this stuff. He did it from a scientific point of view, a skeptical point of view, and he was very detailed. He was detail oriented. I mean, it was just every little question that came up, he went into, and I loved that. It blew my mind. So I started trying to mimic him and do things the way he did. And I bought some of his books, which I have in the shelf behind me, and read through them. I was like, holy shit, you know, this is amazing shit. And then I started learning more about photography at the same time, which, I mean, that opened up a whole new world to me, understanding how all these anomalies were captured on film. It was just amazing. Understanding how like apparitions and orbs and mists and other things like light painting and stuff like that, just amazing stuff. So yeah, it was gradual. It definitely gradual. And then here I am. This is me. This is the way I am now. So I've learned more on the science side of things. I've learned to look at information as it comes in, not reject it out of hand, not reject it because it didn't coincide with my beliefs or ideas. I don't like beliefs. I like ideas better. So I take information now, I look at it, I consider it, I check other sources to verify whether it's relevant or not, whether it's valid or not, and then I choose to accept it or refute it, depending on what I found. So that kind of thought process has helped me a lot to understand what's going on with things, and that is how I treat life now. Pretty much everything I treat like that, and except when I'm watching a good movie, like you know, like a Marvel movie. Not so much DC, because they're just horrible with their movie, except for Wonder Woman because she's hot. But yeah, so there you go. I hope that answered your question. I'm gonna. Oh man, I jumped ahead again. Let me see. Oh, there's lots of comments. I gotta keep going. Holy crap. Let's see. Charlotte goes back to the fireball. Baseball size. Wow, she says it was baseball size. I wanted to check the electrical in the house first. It was a prelim. We will be going back. That's interesting, baseball size. So I don't know. Again, I haven't read too much about ball lightning, so I don't know if that's what this is. But baseball size, it's pretty small. So, you know, we should talk off the show more. I would love to know more details about this and get into this a little bit more with you. So look for a message from me after the show. I'm going to write that down now. Contact Charlotte about Fireball +2 against zombies. There you go. So we're going to talk about that more. Let's see. Jennifer is back on. Kenny, regarding life after death, I was referring to survival of consciousness after bodily death, not just ghosts, but near-death experiences, shared death experiences, and survival. So this gets into an area that I don't have a lot of knowledge in. I haven't done a lot of research into this. For a survivor of the consciousness, this sounds. Are you getting these questions from Dave? This sounds like a Dave question. I think Dave is just too drunk, and he's probably telling you type this because he can't type it himself. But this definitely sounds like a parapsychology question. So I'm not up on the studies that are done. I know there's a lot of survival, consciousness survival papers from parapsychology departments, not just ghosts, but near-death experiences, shared death experiences, and survival. So I honestly, I'm going to pass on this because I don't want to get into a subject that I don't know anything about. I don't want to be one of those guys, that pretend to know what they're talking about and give an opinion that's based on nothing more than, I don't know, I'm just throwing shit out there. So I'm going to pass on this, and maybe we can talk about this more. Actually, we should talk about this more on our other show. So we should do that on the Three Tortured Souls, because I think we get into it more and have a lot more information to go with. So I'm sorry. I hope I don't, disappoint, but let's see. Oh, Dave is there right after. EMF topic. Fluxgate magnetometer can determine frequency with fast fuel. Oh, okay. So he's having a conversation in there. Let's see. Carolyn, how you doing? From what I read, ball lightning can happen just before or after storms, not just during. Yeah, I don't know. Again, that's a topic that I haven't done much reading on, just because it's like I've looked at it from time to time to see if there's anything out there, but it's one of those phenomenon that if it happens, no one's been able to capture it. I know that there's a video, in case anyone brings it up. There is a video that allegedly there's ball lightning going across train tracks. That is fake. That is not a real video. That was manufactured for a ad campaign. So that's not a real video. Jim Clausen. Oh, wait, am I frozen here? I'm frozen. Why can't I? Uh-oh. I can't get that off. Why? That's not good. I don't like that. Oh, boy. I hope everything's working, though. Let's see. So I'm going to read it off because right now the comments aren't going. Oh, yeah, the timer's still going. So I know everything still works. So Jim says, Dave, or you. Or you. Scope, I think. Oh, there it goes. I think I had I think the software had a brain fart. I don't know. Whew, but it did change. So I think Jim is talking more about the conversation in the chat room, which is good. Thank you. Okay. Bob Landzinski says, are there ghost hunters out there that you are aware of that are skeptics, but continue to do it for the money? Ooh, that's a good question. If so, how do you feel about that? Personal thoughts. I see it like the Long Island medium type folks who know they don't have gifts, who know they don't have a gift, but lead people on just for the almighty dollar. Bob, let's see. See, I don't know too much. I don't know too many ghost hunters that are on TV. So I don't know. I can't really speak to that with any kind of authority because I don't know too many. I've talked to a few of them. I'm not going to drop many names here, but I have talked to a few of them like sporadically. So it's nothing where I can get into it. And I don't know whether they actually believe the things that they promote or if they are, if they know it's not true and they're just doing it for the money. The psychics and stuff like that you mentioned, like the Long Island medium. I mean, she is horrible. She's really bad, but she keeps doing it. Yeah, for the almighty dollar. So I think she's a total con artist, complete con artist. But I don't like that because ghost hunters, the only ones that I know that make any money are the ones on TV. So we've seen examples where things have been staged. Collargate. I think most of the ghost hunting people know about that one. Collargate is out there. There's several other things with that show, with the original ghost hunters that came up really fishy. There's been other shows that have staged shit, and are they doing it for the money? I don't know. I wouldn't say, and this is my personal opinion. I can't say for sure if it's for the money or for the fame. I think fame has a lot to do with it. When I go to ghost hunting conferences and look through or talk to the various vendors and the groups that are there that are representing their teams and stuff, I don't hear it too much anymore, but I used to hear a lot of quotes like, "Oh, we have a pilot that we're shooting and it's going to be out soon," or "Wait till you see us on Netflix," or "Wait till you see us on Amazon Prime, and we have our own series and this and that." I hear a lot of that, and it's made to it's said with kind of like a credential like attitude, like I have a TV show, therefore I'm famous. I'm an expert. I know what I'm doing. You should listen to me. That's the impression I got. I don't know if that was intentional from them or not, but that's the impression that I got. And I think it really has more to do with fame and popularity and getting to, you know, be the center of attention at conferences and stuff like that, rather than money. Because I don't see them getting rich. You know, I don't really see any ghost hunters that are on TV in mansions or, you know, driving fancy cars and stuff. So I don't really think they're doing it for the money. On the other hand, though, I always have that attitude where if you can do something you love to do and find someone that'll pay you to do it, then fucking go for it. So that might be the idea that's behind most of what they're doing. You know, if somebody offers you, hey, we're going to pay you, we're going to give you a paycheck every week, every 2 weeks to go and, you know, ghost hunt because that's what you love to do. They might just jump on it for that. And then unfortunately, I think sometimes the ego pops in. Now, on the other side of that too, I don't want to sound like I'm dissing paracelebs all the time, because I have met quite a few that are down to earth, that are extremely approachable and don't take themselves seriously. So, yeah, I think that would be my answer. Not so much the money, but I think it's the fame, with some, not all, but some. So I hope that answered your question. I'm going to try and scroll down here without jumping through. Like, you should see it on the side here. If you ever used StreamYard, you have the comments on the side that I can see. And sometimes it's like I start scrolling. Well, I use the scroll wheel on my my mouse, and I go one click, and then all of a sudden it jumps all the way, and it skips like 20 or 30 comments. So let's say Dave Schumacher, he's talking. Oh, him and Jim are having a conversation. Dave, you and Jim would probably have good conversations. I think that would be great. And Stacy wants me to try her last name. Yeah. Let's see. Let me Stacy D. Fenesteel. Is that it? Fenesteel. Is it Fenesteel like banana, or is it, yeah, Fenesteel? That's what I would go with. So let me know if I'm right or if I totally butchered it. I'm sorry. So, Bob responded, close. He says, close. That's the Americanized version of my last name. Oh, okay. For his last name. Easiest way to remember my name is to think of alcohol. Lenjinsky. Okay. Okay. That's good. Lenjinsky. 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 I got it. I'm so on board with that. All right. Let's see. Charlotte says, okay, thank you, because it's not something you hear about in my area of California. I'm going to look into it more. I mean, that's something. All right. So yeah, we're going to talk later about that. And that's really interesting topic, though. That's something I can see like me spending all night on tonight. So thank you, Charlotte. I'm not going to sleep tonight because I'm going to be reading about ball lightning. Oh, this is great. I love the show is going great. I hope everyone's enjoying it so far. We still have about a half hour to go before I have to start closing down. But let's see. What's your this is a good one. Stacy asked, what is your opinion on the Brown Lady of Raymond Hall? So this is one of the things I have researched enough that I'm confident in talking about. And it's one of the things that I really wanted to write an article about if I get around to it. So basically what I think happened, there was two guys there. Colonel, I forget the names. There were two guys there, and they were there for a film shoot for a magazine. I think it was Country Life magazine. And they were doing the shots of the interior to put in the magazine. And I know that one of the guys, Provenance, I think his name was Provenance, really into the paranormal and wanted to get a picture of a ghost. Like, this was a known hobby of his, and he really wanted to get one. So the two guys were there. They were supposed to be working together to get the shot. The shot for the stairway was set up, and as it was set up, as soon as it was done and ready to go, I believe Provenance started yelling, "Hurry up, take the shot, take the shot." And they removed the lens cap, because this is an old camera. So this is not, the newer modern cameras where you just push a button. You had to take the cap off the lens, which exposed the plate that was inserted in the back of the camera. And then they exposed it for, I believe it was 7 seconds. Don't quote me on that, but it was a good length of time. And then they put the lens cap on. And there you go. You got a picture. So when it was developed, I believe Provenance was the one that developed it, and he was left alone. Nobody was there with him. He had actually sent his partner out to do something on an errand. Excuse me. And he developed it on his own. So he had a lot of time in order to develop this plate. And what I believe happened, and the evidence really goes to this conclusion, is that he took a picture of the Blessed Mary statue. He took a picture of a small statue on a black background. He overexposed it, and then took that plate and basically put it over top of the other plate that was exposed of the stairs. So you got to think, old photography, if you're not familiar with it, it wasn't film that they were using. They were using plates. I don't think I have anything here that can simulate. Oh, wait, maybe, no. So basically, you think of two glass plates, like if you took like a 8x10 picture frame and took the glass out. It was treated with chemicals, and you would expose that, and the light-sensitive chemicals would develop your picture. It would develop a negative, and then you would develop the picture from it. So if you developed one plate, so you have this glass with this image on it, you could take that plate, take another plate with a different image on it, say of a statue. Let's see, statue of maybe like Buddy Christ, and take a picture of this real small, and then you take that plate, you put it on top of the original plate, and therefore you can actually move the picture of Buddy Christ wherever you want it on that image, say in the middle of the stairway. You place a camera on top, you rephotograph both plates, and then you develop the third plate into an image. And that blended image, that's old school photoshopping right there. And you would create this image that you see as the brown lady of Raymond Hall. The problem with it is that the major problem is that the figure in the picture is still. It's not moving. And that's a problem, because it was, as I mentioned, it was exposed for at least 7 seconds. That might be a little bit more than that. But if you think that the description that Provenance gave was that he saw the figure coming down the stairs, it was descending the stairway. So if it was moving down the stairs in 7 seconds, you would not have a picture that was just an overexposed, Buddy Christ or Virgin Mary. You would have a blur going down the stairs. Because for 7 seconds, say if it started up here at the stairs and it's coming down the stairs like this, you would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So for that entire image that was exposed, you'd have this blur down the middle of the camera, the middle of the image. So that is my biggest problem with that. And some of the lectures that I've done for both science conventions and skeptic meetings, when I've lectured about this, is demonstrated that with people. I've actually had people sit in the back of the room and then say, all right, when I say go, I'm going to count to 7, and you walk towards me in kind of a slow motion. Don't rush, just leisurely stroll towards me. And it's amazing how far they get in 7 seconds. And that would just be a complete blur. So my opinion, it's a fake. That picture, the Brown Lady of Raymond Hall, is a fabrication, big hoax, so that he could become famous. And it worked, because you see that shit everywhere. Good question, though. Bob is back. Lenjinsky. He says, as far as the re-recordings, I totally get that. I am recording how-to videos now that teachers are working from home. I am not just a teacher. I am a tech guy at work, so I am showing people how to use all of our technology to teach our students. I do a lot of retakes and editing of videos. I a lot too. Okay, that's great. I'm glad that other people do, because let's see. I'm trying to catch up on these comments. I think I'm getting close. Oh, no, I'm not, because these are made at like 9:25 and it's 9:50 right now. Oh my goodness. I'm so far behind. Let's see. Carolyn says, I'm from California too. First-hand accounts told me to me came from upstate New York and Washington State. More thunderstorms in those regions might explain oh, she's talking about the ball lightning. Okay. I like that there's conversations going on in the chat room. I just have to make sure that I understand who's talking to who. Let's see. I'm going to try and narrow it down. Stacy says, I don't know if I spelled that right. Let's see. Tammy Petty. Hi, Tammy. Valley Spirit Communications says, hello from California. Hello, Tammy from California. And Valley Spirit Communications. Nice. In the dark. Oh, let's see. Oh, what? Where'd I go? Oh, all right. Okay, there we are. Carolyn says, in the dark, we rely more on peripheral vision and can misinterpret shadows as movement. Exactly. That goes back to the cones and rods. The rod cells in our eyes, they pick up black and white, and they pick up motion much better than the cone cells. So that when it gets dark out, and that is a evolutionary aspect of our eyesight, that we can pick up motion or movement out of the corner of our eye. That's why you hear that a lot with ghost stories. Like, oh, I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and then when I looked at it, it wasn't there. And that's because we catch little bits of motion. Any little bit of motion we can pick up. And it might be a curtain blowing a little bit. It might be an animal that runs across the floor. It might be a shadow. Any kind of motion, we'll pick it up in our peripheral. And then as soon as we turn the focus on it, it's either not there anymore, or because we're focusing on it with our cone cells, which see more detail, it's not really there. It's not something that like is spooky or anything. We actually see what's down the hall and determine, oh, it's just a curtain, but it's not moving right now. So maybe we just, it was fleeting. So yeah, it's good point, Carolyn. Because we can pick up and misinterpret shadows and any kind of movement down a hall or in a different room, or out a window even. And then you're dealing with reflections too. So lots of things to consider. Tom Nally. FYI, I saw my typo, but by the time I noticed it was there, too many questions and stuff. Didn't want to. Okay, I don't know what that's about. Typo. Tammy, have you had any experiences? What kind of experiences? Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? Like, I don't know if you're talking about ghosts or UFOs or Bigfoot, religious or drinking. If you're talking about drinking experiences, yes, every weekend. But yeah, I don't, if you're talking about like paranormal, maybe ghosts, probably ghosts, because I see a ghost in your profile picture there. I would say that I don't have any experiences that I thought were ghosts. If you asked me like 10, 15 years ago, I would have a different answer. But right now, I usually, when I do go out on investigations or my own investigations, or when I attend ghost hunts and other events like that, I usually find explanations for the weird stuff that goes on. And when I don't, it's usually it's likely because there's not enough information. So I don't deem it paranormal. I deem it unknown, or I don't know. That's usually what I say. Dun, dun. Stacy says everyone poses with their arms crossed and a serious look on their face. Look that. There you go. I'm posing with my arms crossed and a serious face. I know they have like the rock star poses. And And I don't know. I guess it's like a team thing or like a rock video kind of thing. I don't know. It's the rock band pose when everyone gets together and they're like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. I don't know. I mean, I've done it. My logo, like what the little logo I have. Hold on. Let's see that one, the little logo in the corner here. I have my arms crossed, but it's more like a whatever, bitches. That's the kind of look that I have. I love that though. Sometimes it looks cool though. You know, if you got some badasses on the team that look badass, not necessarily badass in real life, but if they look like they're badasses, it's a cool photo. I'm not going to knock anyone for a picture. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I might poke fun, but it's all in fun. It's not serious. So let's see. What's Charlotte say? I know a team in North Cal that used to charge anywhere from $200 to $400 to go out and investigate. See, that's one of those dilemmas that's been debated for a long time, and I'm pretty sure most people in here will say no. You know, like nobody charges and we shouldn't charge and stuff. And I agree with that to a point. And I'm going to explain my answer. So I don't think people should charge for stuff that they're not really qualified to do. Most of us do this as a hobby. I do it as a serious hobby that I do get paid for on a separate job. I write a column for Skeptical Inquirer. So I do get paid for my column entries, and a lot of that have to do with investigating, which, by the way, if you want to check out my latest article, it's on Skeptical Inquirer online, and it's about my visit to the Archive of the Afterlife Museum in West Virginia. But otherwise, I do not charge to come out and investigate. You know, if people ask me, hey, I have something weird coming on or going on in my house, can you come out and take a look? Usually I don't do a lot of private homes because there's a lot of ethical concerns, legalities, and liability that I am concerned about. So I don't really do private homes, but I'll talk to you on the side. I don't mind that, or I'll go along with events. And there's no reason to charge any money for that because, you know, I want to look, I want to see what's going on. I want to expand my knowledge base and my experience. And I also want to collect data. That's usually what I do. I collect data, information about what the team does, how they do it, and what goes on. So I collect a lot of data in these situations, but it is a hobby. And that's where it comes back to this might not sit well with everyone, but it's a hobby that we do. And usually we pay to do hobbies. But if somebody wants to charge for, like, hey, if somebody approaches a team and says, I want you to come out here, and it's a good distance away, then there really is nothing wrong with that team saying, well, as long as you repay us for gas to come out there because it's a drive, or if it's so long that they have to stay overnight, then hey, if the client pays for a hotel room because we have to stay there, we can't drive home the same night, I don't see anything wrong with that, and maybe, order pizza for them. I don't really see anything wrong with that if the team is approached by someone that wants to hire them, per se, to come out and take a look. I don't care. I've done lectures where people have offered me to come out, or actually contacted me to come out and do a talk for their group or their conference and stuff. And usually I'm cool with it. Like, I will come out, if it's an hour, 2-hour drive, no big deal. I'll come out and do it because I like to do this. I love to talk about this, obviously, because I spend my Friday nights talking with you guys because I love this. But if it's like 6 hours away and I have to stay overnight because there's no way I'm driving 6 hours to a place doing a conference for, I don't know, 5-6 hours, and then I'm not coming home the same day, I'm staying over. So in those cases, I say for myself, like, hey, you reimburse me for gas and pay for a hotel room, and I'll come out. I don't charge like a fee, just for me to speak, because that's what I love to do. So I don't think that's too controversial of a response, but I think on the average, the norm is they shouldn't fucking charge money. You shouldn't put out like, hey, we do ghost investigations. It's $200 to $400 depending on, and I'm sure they're offering like stupid shit, you know, like the different prices are like $200 for basic stuff. And if you want like copies of all the evidence that we get, which is usually not evidence, then it's an extra $200. That's what I think is happening. I don't consider that ethical, because most likely the people that are ghost hunting and charging this money probably don't know what they're doing. It's simple as that. I mean, it's I would love to question these people. I would love to ask questions like, you know, what's the equipment that you use? What's it do? What don't it do? What controls are in play? All the basic questions that you guys have probably heard me over and over and over again say. So yeah, I don't condone that. I don't think that's cool, except for my little caveat that I explained. So if you guys don't like it, you know, let me know in the comments, and I'll promptly ignore them. No, I'm kidding. Let's see. Let me get back to the comments here. Bob, let's go back to UFOs. Do you think we've been visited by an advanced civilization? I don't, you know, honestly, with how fucked up we are, I would expect any other advanced civilization to pass us by. We are the neighborhood where people lock their doors, roll up their windows, and drive through as fast as they can. That's it. Do I think we've been visited? I don't know. Most of the claims that encompass that idea are frivolous. They are silly at best, and just don't offer any evidence in support of it. They are anomaly hunting, going back to the beginning. I'm sure Dave's going to pipe up. But I don't. No, I don't. We have the prime directive that we learned from Star Trek. Any Trekkies here, you know what I'm talking about. Where a new civilization, if you come onto it, you observe a lot, and you don't approach, you don't engage. But we have so many satellites. We can see all over the place. If there was a civilization that came here, why would you come so far and not stop in? You know, come down, say hi, have a beer, hang out for a little bit. No. As far as we know, I think the closest habitable planet is 30 some light years away. You know, so if you have the technology to traverse that space in a decent amount of time, which would be, I think, at the most 33 years or something like that, depending on the physics. I'm not a physicist. But if you were able to get here in 30 some years, it would take 30 some years to get back. So I would think they would stop by, you know, stop in, make contact, do something, not do graffitiing fucking cornfields, not just, you know, flybys so that people can videotape them, not just screw around with aircraft and be like, oh look, they still use fossil fuels, you know, fly around their planes a little bit and then zip back home, you know. Like, I don't see that happening. I don't think that's happened. I'm open to it, but I don't think that happened. Oh my goodness. Look who showed up. WLFE DB. That's the network I'm broadcasting to, and they're on. Wow. I think that's Teddy. I think that, oh, he loves this show. Of course you do, because I'm broadcasting on your show. Oh, I love it. It's fun. Oh, Daisy, I love you too. I hope you're talking to me. Or maybe you're talking to Wolf. See, do you see that? WLFE, Wolf. Let's see. Bob says, I think the physics doesn't make sense to visit us from another galaxy. It's hard to fathom. I agree. It's so fast. And I've gone into this. I haven't gone into this like on the show, but I've read about it. I've watched videos from very astrophysicists, and just the physics involved in obtaining the speed of light to even make it possible to get somewhere in a decent amount of time, where in our lifespan is just phenomenal. So I can't say much more because, again, physics and me makes my brain hurt. I'm not even going to get into that. So, but yeah, I mean, I wish they would stop here. That would be great. Take me back home. Tom says aliens are like Clark Griswold. Okay, kids, roll them up. Exactly. That's exactly it. I mean, look at all the stupid shit that we do. We fight about everything. We fight about every goddamn thing, and it's ridiculous. We spend too much of our lives. I'm getting up on the soapbox here. We spend too much of our lives on social media arguing with people, like arguing and cursing out people because they have different ideas than us, and it's silly. You can have discussions. I have discussions with people all the time. We've had discussions tonight, and I'm sure some of the opinions that I have expressed, not all of you agree with, but you're still here. You're still hanging out. You still come every week and see what's going on, which is great. That's how we can do it. But you see other people blocking them and getting pissed off on their live videos and saying, "Oh, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not listening to you anymore, and I'm never talking to you again." And friendships just falling apart because why? What? Stupid shit. Yeah. So I would pass this by too. I would totally pass this by, because if I was with an advanced civilization and I could, first of all, if I could fly a spaceship, I'm not stopping here at all, because I'm flying a spaceship, motherfuckers. I'm out there having fun. So yeah, why would you want to come here with all the turmoil that's going on? And it's just, we need to learn to be more Star Trek like. Like I'm a Star Wars fan. I like Star Trek, but I'm definitely a Star Wars fan. But Star Trek has got it right, like everyone works together. We're one people. And I think that's the way it should be. We should realize we're all one people, and we really need to work together to progress and keep going. And it's a shame that that's not how it is. I like comments like this. Bob says, "You're awesome, Kenny. Glad I dropped in. I had fun." Damn right you did. I hope you were drinking too. But thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I love it. And you know what? These shows, if they turn out great, if you guys enjoy them, it's because of you guys, not really because of me. I'm just the idiot that sits here and talks for 2 hours. You guys come up with the awesome questions. You guys come up with the comments that spur on debates. Like somebody will ask a question, and then I give my opinion, and I see the conversations going on in the chat room, which are great. And that's the purpose of this, to drink and to have conversations, to get people to talk, not, back and forth like I hate you and fuck you and this and stuff. It's to have a conversation, to talk about things, and to make friendships. I can't tell you how many people I've met over podcasts, or these live streams, and have become friends, and we hang out now. Tom in the chat room. I mean, Juan Tom, he got his nickname Juan Tom because we met in a chat room, and it was just great. It was just great. He came on to one of our podcasts, and I think we were all drunk. I forget how he actually came up with it, because I think we were confusing him with another guy, Juan, and just naturally became Juan Tom. So it's really, really fun. I enjoy this. So, wow, what time is it? It's 10:09. So if there's no more questions, I'm going to start wrapping it up a little bit. But if there's a question that pops up, I'll get right to it. Because I do go on till 10:30, so I got about 20 minutes left. Let's see. Oh, Stacy, I meant you. Oh, I love you too, Stacy. Thank you. I appreciate that. What kind of shirt do you have on there? I can't see it. All right. So let's see. Stacy said, "You make me think a lot about this paranormal stuff." That's good, because that's another reason for this show. Like the network that I was kind of curious, and I'll just throw it out there because I know Ted's watching now, but and I'm gonna screw him. I'm gonna screw with him. But the network that I'm on, WLFE DB radio network, there's a couple paranormal shows on there, and definitely not stuff that I like listening to paranormal shows once in a while, and there's other shows that I don't like listening to. So I was kind of like hesitant in the beginning, like I'm a skeptical show, do I want to be on with a whole bunch of other shows that are paranormal? But my friendship with Teddy, that's a little joke, Teddy. My friendship with Ted has developed over the last year or so, and he convinced me that it was a good idea, and I think so too, because I do attend the paranormal conferences, I do attend events, paranormal events, and I try to very casually and under the radar inject myself into maybe like panel discussions and stuff, just to get a skeptical opinion in there. And that's my goal, is to my main goal is to help improve the quality of everyone's work. And if I can make you think about stuff, if I can ask questions that maybe you haven't thought about before, if I can offer solutions that you might not have thought about before, if I can offer alternative methods or controls or clarifications, or say, like, that's not how science really does it, this is how it does, and it makes you think, my job is done. Not done, but it's on its way. We're talking, we're having discussions, we're talking about this stuff. It makes you think, and then the next time you go out and see like an experience that you asked about and we talked about, the next time you see it, you're going to think, oh, maybe I should try this, or maybe I should try that, and you might find a solution on your own, which is great. That makes me happy. Hasn't even happened yet, but it makes me happy. So there you go. Tom is laughing, so he's probably drunk. Ted's on, haha, drink and be talk normal. What? I think Ted's fucked up already. I don't know what he's trying to say. Stacy says rum is normal for Kenny. That's right. This is a lot of rum, and I'm getting there. Almost done. So I'm timing this good. I tried to make sure I had enough in here for 2 hours worth. So I got about eight minutes or so, and then I'm going to start doing whatever announcements I have. And then hopefully you guys stay on and don't bail on my announcements. Let's see. Ted says, Kenny, 9 head side to side. Kenny. That's a little inside joke. If you ever see Ted, if you are ever on Talk with Teddy, make sure at one point you go, Ted, and bob your head side to side and just be like, Ted. It's great. He loves that. I'm holding up a sign. Oh, Ted holds up a sign every time I'm on his show, because I am the almost co-host of his show, Talk with Teddy. He holds up a sign about bad words, because apparently I say a lot of bad words. So I don't know. Charlotte says, I like to learn from you. I can't express how much I appreciate that. It's good to know that whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm offering here helps. Oh, I had the burp. That was a silent one. This is for fun and for education. So if I can help out, that's the point of it. Like that makes me feel happy and makes me feel like what I'm doing is worth it. Even though, like, I do get a lot of hate mail, I do get a lot of negativity, and I'm not going to go into that because it's just a waste of time. But it's nice when I hear from you guys, and it's like, oh, I helped out with something, or I made you think about something, or you learned something new from me. That's awesome. That's why I keep doing this. This is why I go all night and learn and read and research and write and do videos and do all this stuff. It's to help everyone. So thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, Carolyn says, great, fun show as always. Kenny, everyone have a good night. Where are you going? I'm not done yet. I still got a couple minutes. Tom is not drunk yet. Hard to believe, but not a drink taken last night or tonight. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. There's too many dots in your comments there, so I do not believe that, Tom. And Bob Lenjinsky says, rum is my drink of choice too. Miss you on the karate floor. Not that I am still doing karate, but the kids are still doing. You know what? I miss it too. Unfortunately, my job situation changed when I stopped going, but I loved it. I was able to achieve a black belt, and it was one of my greatest achievements of my life. So I do miss it. I miss the family that I had there training. And that's another thing. Like, we have these discussions, and we can have heated discussions, Dave Schumacher, where we can yell at each other if we need to, but as long as we stay friends afterwards. And every time I went to my martial arts training, especially Thursday nights, when we did sparring, full contact sparring, it was great. We could beat the shit out of each other and still be friends. I love that. Love that. So I miss you too, Bob. Hopefully, maybe things will change and I'll be able to come back. I would love to come back. I miss it so much. Ted, oh my God, hate mail. Ha 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 ha, hate mail. Ha ha ha. You're not alone. I know. Hate mail is just norm. And I do post them sometimes. I do post them because it's like, sometimes they're just so incredibly bad. And I figure some of them are from the same person, Evan Jensen. And it's just ridiculous. But oh well, I don't dwell on the negative. I make fun of it a little bit and then I move on, because it's like, Bob, and I'm not going to mention the guy's name, but Bob had actually posted a link because he was looking for where we were going to broadcast, and he went to a site that he thought was mine, and it went to a blog post which really rips me apart, or tries to rip me apart, and hates me because it's somebody that I wrote about, and debunked a lot of their claims. And this person is really pissed off at me. So there's a blog post out there, if you want to search for it, it's out there, where he actually he really hates me so much. And it's funny, but get over it. Let's see. Stacy says, Tom, I'd be very drunk. Stacy's drunk. I love that. Everyone shows up at the bar and drinks. Bob says, same here, black belt. My 9-year-old is a junior black belt. Awesome. Good to hear. Oh, Tom, you're lying. Oh, all right. I finally caught up to all. That's the last comment so far. So I am caught up. It's 10:17. I go to 10:30, so I have time for like 1 or 2 more questions. If you guys have something you want to shout out there, again, paranormal related questions. If not, I will get to my announcements, and then I will cut out and go finish the rest of my rum. So I'll start. If I see something pop up, I'll get to it. So let's see. Okay, so every Friday night for the foreseeable future, I will be broadcasting live Friday nights, 8:30 to 10:30. I might push it back a little bit. I don't know, depending on work, because it might be a little tight doing 8:30. So I might do it 9 to 11. I'll let you guys know. But for now, it's Saturday nights, 8:30 to 11:30. I'll be here broadcasting to my I Am Kenny Biddle Facebook page, and also broadcasting live on the WLFE-DB radio network. I will be doing, let's see, last week I did an interview with Elle Harris, which was awesome. Her dad was also on because she's a 9-year-old author. She wrote a book called Elle the Humanist, which was really cool. I got to read through it. I got an advanced copy, not a physical copy, but a PDF, so I could read it. It was a great book. I interviewed her. She was adorable. Her father offered really good advice for anyone that does not follow a particular religion, and if their kids are having, some trouble or some negativity maybe with other kids or families. It was a great show. It was very positive. So I recommend you going back and listening to that, reviewing that. The video podcast is on my Facebook page. The audio was released on Spreaker, and it was released about 2 hours ago. So you can listen to that if you want to. Next week, I will have JD Sword He is a member of the Church of Satan. And don't get freaked out. He's a nice guy, awesome guy, very intelligent. He hosts a podcast called The Devil is in the Details. And it's a great podcast. It's very informative. I mean, it's well researched. It's awesome. He is a member of the Church of Satan. He's going to come on. We're going to talk about stuff. We're going to talk about like why he joined it, some of the misconceptions about the Church of Satan, and just everything about it. He applies skepticism the same way I do, just from it's a different point of view, but I think it's pretty much the same point of view. It's just different label. But awesome guy. I can't wait to talk to him. And if you have any questions, this will be live, so you're free to ask any questions. If you're wondering about like what the Church of Satan is, what do they do, what they don't do, if you have any questions about stuff you've heard in the past, you're free to ask. He's open to questions. He's a very well-spoken gentleman. I can't wait to have him on. So that's it. There's not too many other announcements because all the conferences and stuff that I had planned on attending aren't happening. So I don't have anything to really say after this. I'm kind of stuck. But you can always visit me. There are also the other podcast that I do is Three Tortured Souls. And that's me, Dave Schumacher, who was in the chat room, and Tim Vickers. Three guys that get together. It's almost like this show. We drink a little bit casually, and then we have a topic that we talk about. We do monitor the chat room, and if there's questions that come up that are relevant to our topic, we address them. But we talk about a topic, and we just go from there. So I forget what topic we're going to talk about tomorrow night, and I don't know what time. I think we go on around like 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'm looking through really quick to see what the topic is. So I don't. Oh, wait. I think I'm here. So we're gonna talk. Oh, okay. So we're gonna talk about when me and Tim Vickers we went to the Archive of the Afterlife Museum in West Virginia, and we did investigations there. We're gonna talk about the importance of provenance, and that basically is the chain of command for objects, for artifacts. So if you get an artifact that's supposed to allegedly like a historical artifact, and it came from like some kind of historical figure or location, basically provenance is the paper trail that leads to it that proves that this object actually came from this person or this place. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow because our investigation of some of the artifacts in that museum turned up different results than what they had thought happened. So we're going to talk about our experiences. We're going to talk about provenance. We're going to talk about how to research provenance and go from there. So I think it's going to be a really interesting topic. So tune in. I will post something as soon as I know the time that we're going on. And again, I think it's like 7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow night, Eastern time. So definitely tune in. What do I got? Let's see. Got some comments. Oh, Church of Satan is cool. Yes, I know. I have the Satanic Bible. I did read it years ago, and I actually liked it. So, what's that tell you? Oh, Cliff. Hey, Cliff. That sounds cool. I will have to watch. Good. Definitely tune in because I think it's going to be good. And again, his podcast, JD's podcast is called The Devil in the Details. If you look it up on like Stitcher or iTunes, I think there's 3 episodes up. I listened to all 3 and I loved them. I thought they were really good. Let's see. Ted Vanson said May 1st, Kenny and Moore will be joining Talk with Teddy. So yeah, I'll be doing Talk with Teddy after my show. So as soon as I'm done here, I'll be on his show. So way to pimp your show during my show, bitch. I love it. Let's see. Bob says, I've done studies of world religions, so I can't wait. Part of the reason why I'm a religious skeptic. Awesome. Good. So this is a great topic. And that's what I thought. Like, JD actually contacted me. We've been talking for a while, and he sent me a message asking if I would take a listen to his podcast and say, hey, review it. Let me know what you think of it. And I did. I mean, I gave him an honest review afterwards, and I really liked most of it. Like all of it. There really wasn't a bad thing I had to say. So definitely something to tune into. And he really clarifies a lot of the misperceptions. And there's a lot out there. I mean, when you think of, tell me, when you think of Satanist, when someone says he's a Satanist, what do you think of? Do you have that stigma? Do you have that bias? Like, oh, automatically that's a bad person? Or is it curiosity? This is going to be the show to ask questions. Now I put the disclaimer out there. I'll do it during the show, but I'm going to do it here now. He is not an official representative of the Church of Satan. He's a member. So his views are his, not necessarily the Church of Satan. So I want to make that distinction so that I don't get him in trouble. So let's see. Plug your YouTube channels too. Oh, thanks, Tom. Let's see. I do a YouTube channel with my wife. We do K&D Adventures. And if you do a search on YouTube for that, look for the profile picture of me and my wife. There's a cute little picture where we're all cuddly and stuff. But we try to go out on weekends and explore places, whether it's an abandoned place or historical place or a fun place or whatever we do on the weekends, we try to film it and put it out there. We have 5 videos up there now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe. Yeah, I think we have 5 videos out there and it's growing. So make sure you check it out. Subscribe, because if you subscribe, I really want to get to 100 subscribers before Juan Tom does. That would be awesome. So, but again, also subscribe to Juan Tom's channel, which is Tom's World. He does the same thing. He goes out and explores places, and some of the places, like at least one of the places, we got from him. So, and we're going to hook up after this quarantine is over and do some things together. So this is great. This is working out great because I got like 3 minutes before I have to go off. Let's see. Oh, Stacy, I hope you come to Kansas City someday. I do too. I do too. That's a little far, but if we can work things out, that would be great. If they have like a conference or something, I would love to come out. Or if we find something and during our adventures, we just decide to come out there and check out some places, that would be cool. And I always post stuff on Facebook. So if you see that I'm coming out there, Stacy, let me know. And then maybe we can meet up and explore some places together. That would be awesome. Let's see. Like a timeline for things. I'm not sure what that means. Ted says skeptical help bars. Oh, he's advertising for me. Nice. Let's see. Oops. Thanks, Tom. And that's it. That's pretty much it. So without too much more, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. We had a lot of people in here. I think at one time we were over 20. We had a lot of people in here. We had a lot of good questions. I appreciate everyone that put up a question. I'm sorry if I couldn't answer it or if I didn't satisfy your question. I apologize. Maybe I'll try to do better next time. But I don't know everything. And one of my core ideas is that I'm not going to pretend that I do. I don't like pretending. I don't like when people pretend or make up shit just so they can sound like they're smart or they're some kind of authority. I don't like doing that. I don't know things. I don't know a lot of things. But I have notes. I have some notes here that I'm going to look up more and then hopefully be better prepared for the next one. And that's it. Tune in next week. If you have any questions, I am on. What's that? Okay. I am on Facebook at I am Kenny Biddle. That's my Facebook page. Don't go to like a .com because that won't be me. But look for I am Kenny Biddle on Facebook. If you have any questions or if you want to follow up with anything that I said tonight, feel free to message me. I don't ignore people unless you're, a dick. But otherwise, I will engage with anyone and talk to you and, have a conversation. I love conversations. And that's it. If you have a conference coming up, after the quarantine and you want to have a skeptic, or if you know of a conference coming up and you know the organizers and you're like, oh, we could have a skeptic on the panel or, involved with that, talk to them. Let me know. And if I'm available, I will certainly try to show up because I love doing it. And with that, I'm going to sign off. It's 10:30 on the dot, just changed. And I'm going to leave you with one final note, my tagline, which is, wait, I got to set everything up so I can do this right. All right, so here we go. Never stop learning.